Thank you for viewing this training provided by the Office of Civil Rights in Title IX. During this training, we will discuss PPM 3010, which is the policy that OCR and Title IX oversees. We will discuss where and to whom the policy applies, your role as an advisor when it comes to PPM 3010, the process for filing a report with OCR and Title IX, resources, as well as present some case studies that may be relevant to your role as an advisor. This policy covers discrimination, harassment, sexual harassment, and retaliation occurring on campus or otherwise within the context of university education programs and activities, whether those are on campus or off campus. It applies to persons who are on campus or who otherwise participate in or attempt to participate in the university education programs and activities, such as employees, students, applicants for employment or admission, contractors, vendors, visitors, and guests. Conduct that occurs off campus and outside the context of the university's education programs and activities is covered by this policy only to the extent such conduct has a nexus to discrimination, harassment, sexual harassment, or retaliation that is alleged to have occurred on campus or in the context of the university's education programs and activities. Discrimination based on race, color, ethnicity, national origin, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, age, ancestry, disability, genetic information, military status, or veteran status is prohibited. Retaliation against a person for reporting or objecting to discrimination or harassment, or for participating in an investigation or other proceeding, is a violation of this policy, whether or not discrimination or harassment occurred. The Office of Civil Rights and Title IX also hear complaints that fall under Title IX of the Civil Rights Laws and Violence Against Women Act. These offenses include sexual harassment, sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking. Any report with allegations of the listed conduct based on sex will first be reviewed under the Title IX definitions. If the alleged conduct does not meet the requirements to satisfy the Title IX definitions, it will then be processed under the definition of sexual harassment as outlined in PPM 3010. The process for investigating Title IX complaints differs slightly from other investigations. If any person covered under PPM 3010 discloses to you that they were involved in an incident of discrimination or harassment based on any protected class or sexual assault, you are required to report it to the Office of Civil Rights and Title IX. If you believe someone is about to tell you something that will require you to make a report, stop to inform the individual about your responsibility to report. Before you share, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you, and I appreciate you trusting me. However, I want to be upfront that in my role, there are certain situations that I may be required to report to ensure everyone's safety and to connect you to the right resources. If that's the case, I'll be here to guide you through the next steps. If you're comfortable, please go ahead and we'll figure it out together. You only need to report what is shared with you. You do not need to ask questions such as, where did this happen? Or, who was there? The Office of Civil Rights and Title IX will reach out to you if we have questions or need additional information. Lastly, be knowledgeable of resources available to students. There are a few options for reporting to the Office of Civil Rights and Title IX. You can call our office, visit in person, email us, or complete an online incident report. You are always encouraged to contact the Office of Civil Rights and Title IX if you have a question regarding information that was shared with you. Once you submit a report to the Office of Civil Rights and Title IX, you will not receive information regarding the case or investigation. Complainants listed in a report will receive an email offering resources and an invitation to meet with the Director of the Office of Civil Rights and Title IX Coordinator to discuss resources and investigation processes. All reports and initial complaints alleging a violation of the policy are processed by the Office of Civil Rights and Title IX to determine if there is jurisdiction to investigate and whether the alleged conduct, if true, would constitute a violation of the policy. If the alleged activity would be a violation of the policy, the Office of Civil Rights and Title IX may conduct an investigation into the allegations following procedures outlined in PPM 3010. The Office of Civil Rights and Title IX reviews all complaints of discrimination, harassment, sexual harassment, and retaliation to determine if remedial actions are warranted. It is important to note not all complaints will move forward to an investigation. A complainant has the right to decline a formal investigation. Additionally, there is no timeline for a complainant to request an investigation. The Office of Civil Rights in Title IX may also refer a complaint to the university's Threat Management Policy, PPM 3015, depending on the alleged conduct. PPM 3015 addresses conduct that presents a substantial risk of physical harm to persons on campus or in the context of a university-sponsored program or activity, and applies to the conduct of students, employees, contractors, vendors, guests, or anyone on campus or otherwise participating in a university-sponsored program or activity. Kansas State University has both confidential and non-confidential resources available to support individuals who may need help. Confidential resources like counseling services and the care office are places where you can share information without it being reported to others or triggering an official university response. These resources are designed to provide a safe space for you to talk and receive support without worrying about further action unless requested. Non-confidential resources like faculty, staff, and administrators, including you as a student organization advisor, are here to provide support as well. But you are a mandatory reporter. This means that if you receive certain information, such as experiences of discrimination, harassment, or other policy violations, you are required to report it so the university can take steps to ensure safety and provide appropriate resources. Let's look at some case studies. You advise the pre-dentistry student organization. You accompany the organization members to a 3-day pre-dentistry conference in Wichita, Kansas. One of the members, Kayla, contacts you by email the following week and informs you she is removing herself from the organization. You meet with Kayla to discuss her decision. Kayla informs you that throughout the conference, Paul, the president of the pre-dentistry organization, kept putting his hand around her waist and winking at her, making her uncomfortable. Kayla informs you that after the conference dinner on the last night, she and another member, Monica, invited Paul back to their hotel room to play Monopoly. Halfway through the game of Monopoly, Monica got a phone call from her sister and left the room. Kayla tells you that Paul asked her to sit on his lap shortly after Monica left the room. Kayla tells you she was confused by this request and laughed it off, but when she did not sit on Paul's lap, he moved closer to her, started to make out with her, touched her breast, and attempted to take off her shirt. Kayla tells you Monica returned from her phone call after about 30 minutes, and she decided to end the game of Monopoly and go to bed. Paul returned to his hotel room. The next day, Paul acted like nothing happened. Some questions for you to ponder are, as the advisor to the pre-dentistry student organization, what are your reporting responsibilities in this situation under PPM 3010? What steps should you take immediately after Kayla shares this information with you to ensure compliance with university policy? Why is it critical to report incidents like this to the Office of Civil Rights in Title IX, even if Kayla does not explicitly request an investigation? How should you navigate the fact that this incident occurred off campus at a university-affiliated event? Does this impact your reporting responsibilities? What additional information, if any, might the Office of Civil Rights in Title IX require from you or Kayla to move forward with an investigation? You advise the Planet Earth Enthusiast, or PEE, student organization. PEE is planning a trip to clean up a local creek for Earth Day. The Vice President, Megan, expresses concerns about Landon, who is a member of the organization who uses a wheelchair, and his ability to participate in the event. The president of the organization, John, tells Megan that he plans to message organization members about the event individually so Landon won't know about the event since he cannot participate due to being in a wheelchair. The event takes place and Landon, after seeing pictures of the organization cleaning up the local creek on the organization's Instagram page, approaches Megan and asks her why he was not informed about the event. Megan comes to you as the advisor and informs you about the situation. Now some questions for you to ponder. What are your reporting obligations as an advisor when informed about this situation involving potential exclusion and discrimination? What strategies can you use to educate the student organization's leadership about the importance of inclusion and accessibility? How should you support Landon in this situation, both in terms of ensuring his concerns are addressed and connecting him with university resources? A fraternity is hosting its annual arm wrestling tournament. The annual arm wrestling tournament is known to be a big event in fraternity and sorority life. Multiple fraternities and sororities participate in the 2-day tournament. The Monday following the tournament, you are meeting with Farah, the president of the sorority you advise. You ask Farah how the arm wrestling tournament went. Farah tells you it was a lot of fun for the most part, but the fraternity started making up rules throughout the event. One of the rules was the loser of the sorority tournament had to sleep with the winner of the fraternity tournament. Farah tells you that some fraternity guy named Marcus won the fraternity tournament and was bragging about how Kathy, the loser of the sorority tournament, won't even remember that he had sex with her because she was drunk. Farah tells you that the morning after the event, one of her sorority sisters shared a TikTok video from an unknown TikTok account that shows Marcus undressing Kathy, who is clearly passed out, with the caption, "You snooze, you lose." Now some questions to ponder. What are your responsibility as an advisor upon hearing this information from Farah? Why is it important to report this incident immediately to the Office of Civil Rights in Title IX? What information should you include in your report to ensure the university can respond effectively? How can you provide support for Kathy while respecting her privacy and ensuring her access to resources? What confidential resources at K-State could you recommend to Kathy to help her process the situation? Thank you for taking time to engage with this training video on PPM 3010 and your role as advisors to registered student organizations at Kansas State University. Your dedication to supporting our students and helping them navigate their leadership and organizational responsibilities is invaluable. As advisors, you play a critical role in ensuring our RSOs operate effectively, inclusively, and in alignment with university policies. Your guidance fosters not only the success of these organizations, but also the personal growth and development of our students. We appreciate your commitment to staying informed and engaged with university policies and procedures. If you have any questions or need additional support, please don't hesitate to reach out. Together, we can contribute to create a vibrant, supportive, and compliant campus environment for everyone.